Okay, so here we are in Mindview. This is a piece of software which is available free from the Imperial College London Software Hub. So do go ahead and install it on your computer at home. I'm going to go in and make a mind map here on the left hand side, and we're going to start off with a big empty white space and just a box in the middle. Now the first thing I'm actually going to go and do is go into the Design tab, and I'm going to go and change the page color to something a bit more comfortable to look at. So I'm just going to choose like an orange color there. And also I'm going to immediately go to File, go to Save As, and I'm going to browse to a new folder which I'm going to create on my desktop here. And I'm just going to call this Mind Map Test. And I'm going to save my mind map inside this folder. Now that's actually quite important, and it will become apparent why I've done that in a few minutes. Now I'm going to go back to home and I'm going to plan out an essay. So if any of these boxes on the screen have a blue boundary around it, that means it's selected. So if I click on the pink space there, it is no longer selected. Again, I click back on it and it is selected. This is important because it means that you can literally just type over the text. You probably don't want to go ahead and double click in there, because Mindview has a shortcut which enables you to create new sections on the level below, and that is linked to the double click on the mouse, and I find a lot of people get caught out by that in the first instance. I'm going to select this and delete with the delete key, and with my subject box selected I'm going to put my title in. So obviously your essay titles might be a bit more complicated than this, but it's just a silly title to use so that we can concentrate on learning the interface. Now we've got a branch and a sub-branch button at the top of the screen, and if I click on sub-branch we'll get an idea attached to that essay title. If I was to click on sub-branch again, it's going to create another one on the level below. Okay. And now if I click on branch, it makes it on the same hierarchical level. So a good way to think about this is, imagine you're making a family tree. Branches are brothers and sisters. They're on the same level. So this idea is on the same level as this idea, and sub-branches break that idea down further, so they're like children. So again, if I click on sub-branch again, it'll keep breaking that idea down and down and down. Now you can use those buttons. I really like to use keyboard shortcuts. I'm actually going to delete all of this content, and I'm going to show you how I might start mind mapping my making a cup of tea essay. I'm going to use two keys on the keyboard, the insert key and the enter key, and if you hover over the branch button we can see that the keyboard shortcuts are actually written there. So enter for branches and insert for sub-branches. So I'm going to start myself off just by clicking on the sub-branch button, but from now I'm going to use these keyboard shortcuts. So what I like to do is just try and empty my brain of all the ideas that I might possibly want to get into my mind map, and I'm really going to worry about structure later on. Now I can simply start typing in T, because obviously T needs to be part of this process, and I'm going to press enter to save it. Then I'm going to press enter again. So remember, enter is the keyboard shortcut for creating another one on the same hierarchical level. And in the initial instance, I think it's almost good to not worry about structure at all, just to keep pressing enter and getting all of your ideas into the map. So I'm going to go ahead and do that now. And remember, enter after each one to save it. Now I've just spotted that I've accidentally put in water twice, but I'm actually going to leave it there for now so that when we come to structuring and reorganizing the map later, you can see how this kind of interface is really good at helping you pick up mistakes and duplications. Now if I did want to break down milk into subsections, I can use the insert key instead of clicking on the sub-branch button. And that's going to give me a sub-branch there. So now I can literally type over the top, because remember, whenever any of the sections have a blue boundary around it, that means it's selected and you can literally type over the top. So I'm doing very little reaching for my mouse here. I'm just on the keyboard using insert and enter and typing in phrases as they come into my head. So I can type in semi-skimmed, press enter to save it, and of course enter again is going to create another one on the same level. Whole milk And that's pretty much how it works. That takes a little bit of getting used to in the first place, because it can be really compelling to go in and click on stuff to change the text. But again, if I double click here, if I do it over the text, that will actually work and I can change it. But if I'm just a little bit further over to the right and I double click, it actually creates a sub branch. So there's a number of different ways that you can use the interface to create your ideas there.